Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and to another Christmas content video. I hope you're enjoying all of this Christmassy stuff that I've been doing. If you are a viewer of my channel regularly, you'll know that I really love using pre-cut, pre-scored cards to make cards because I just find it so much easier than setting everything up to cut and score and making the card as an extra piece. And also it does save on quite a lot of materials. These cards were I think £4.50 or £5 from Hobbycraft, and if you're a member of their craft club you can get discounts if you spend a certain amount. So I actually paid £2.50 for all of these cards, which is a really good buy, and I love to use these. And there is a little bit of a hack that I'm going to share with you today to make placing this on the mat and getting it to cut really accurately really easy. So without any further ado, let's jump in. First thing that we need to do then is get our project set up ready in Design Space so that it's going to work with this hack. So I've got these cards that I've got on the screen here that I've made, and I'm going to use these as my basis. So the first one I'm going to do is this Christmas tree. So if you wish to use these designs, they'll be on my profile in Cricut Design Space, so feel free to hunt those down and you can use them for whatever you like. I will pop a little video above and down below showing you how to find a profile if you're not sure how. So I'm going to first of all just choose which one I'm going to use, and I think I'm just going to use the one I've got on there, which is the Christmas tree one, because I quite like that. This is actually just the backing piece of glitter that's going to go behind it, so we don't need that at the moment. Let me hide that as well. So what we need to do first of all is duplicate our design, and we are going to just hide that one out of the way. The first thing that we want to do then is grab ourselves a basic square shape. So let's get that, and we want it to be as close to the size of this rectangle as possible. Now we could really accurately measure it, or we could just put it over the top like that, and that's easy to do. We need to make it the same rough size because this is all part of tricking your machine into doing the cut that we want it to do. So what we're going to do now is we are going to hold down the shift key on your keyboard, and we're going to select this square, and we're going to select this layer here, which is the layer with the Christmas tree on it. Now we can't just click on select all or drag over everything because we've got a score line and there's some text on there as well, and as we know we can only slice if two layers are currently selected. So now that those two layers are selected, they're green, we can come down here and you can see slice has become available. Let's click on slice, and that is there now. Let's move all the bits out of the way that have sliced. This will have also detached from that. It doesn't matter because it's only a copy. So if you want to, you can delete that. So this is the one. This is the one that we're going to actually use, which is this cutout section. So let's just get rid of that one and also that one. And then let's get rid of that. Now I don't think I'm going to include the Merry Christmas at the moment, just for ease of doing this particular demonstration. So this is what we're going to be using. Next, what we need to do is make sure that we get rid of this square at the bottom because we've got that very small slice that we don't actually want it to cut. So let's select that again, so it's green in the layers panel. Come down the bottom here to where it says contour, and we're going to now see that on the screen as well as our tree and all the nice little bits and bobs. What we need to do is just select that slice there. We can either click on it in this box here, or we can just click on it here as well, and then just click away from that, and that will have disappeared. Now we need to trick the machine into cutting this without cutting out the square box, which is why I've done it this way. Now what we want to do is come up here to the shapes menu, and we're going to click on the score line. Now it's brought up a score line at 6.35 centimetres in length. Now what we want to do is now grab one of our cards, and we're going to measure the length of our card. So let me jump over to my desk, and I'm going to show you that as well at the same time as doing it on the screen. I promise this is all going to make sense when it comes to it. Here's our pre-scored card then. What we want to do is measure from the top here down to the bottom. So if I just turn it round, we want to measure it really accurately. So this measures 14.8 centimeters. So now if I go back to Design Space, I want to come up into this box here, delete that 6.35, and I want to put in 14.8 centimeters. And so that score line is now the full length of our card. So what we want to do is come over here and we want to put it in the center of our tree. So let's just select everything, and we want to come up to a line, and we want to click on center horizontally. Now, as expected, it's going to be dead straight down the center of that Christmas tree, which is absolutely perfect for us. What we want to do now is select everything again, and we want to attach. Okay, now what we're going to do is go through to make it, and we are going to arrange this onto our mat so that it's going to cut properly. So let's go back to my desk and get this set up on the mat so you can see how it's going to work. Okay, here is our mat and here is our card, and I'm also just referring on the screen here to our original design. So what I'm going to do first of all is get my design in the mouse, and I'm going to move it so that the score line is completely in line with that line just by the 15, which on the physical mat is this line here. Now if you're using your mat the other way around or anything like that, what I would suggest doing, because if I know we all tend to use the top portion of our mats and then the bottom half tends to stay a bit more sticky. So what I did when I had a mat that was like that, which was sticky at the bottom rather than at the top, was just turned it round like this. What I did then was pulled my design down to the bottom and I lined it up with the 6 instead, as you can see I'm doing on the screen now, and that was just so that I could utilise the bottom of the mat, which was more sticky than the top. But because this is a new mat, I'm going to use it the centimetres way round. So as I said, just line up that design there with that particular line just by the 15. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, what on earth is she doing lining up this with that line and leaving the score line there? Because now she's going to have a score line through the Christmas tree, and surely she doesn't want a score line through the Christmas tree. No, you're right, I do not want a score line through my Christmas tree. So we're going to trick the machine now into forgetting all about that score line. So if we just click on continue, and we need to choose our base material. So for this particular one I chose cardstock for intricate cuts. And then as you can see here, it's asking me to load in my single scoring wheel into clamp B. Now of course I don't really want a scoring line down the centre of my Christmas tree. So what I'm going to do is come here to edit the tools, and I'm going to choose the scoring stylus. Now if I was actually going to score and I chose the scoring stylus, I'd put it in to clamp A. And so therefore if I now click apply, it's not going to be able to check whether I've actually put that scoring stylus into clamp A, because it's not like using a quick swap housing or any of the other machine blades that you get with a maker. It doesn't know whether you've got it in there. So we're basically now going to let it do its score with nothing in the clamp, and then of course it'll carry on and do the cut using the fine point blade that's in clamp B. So that is how we're going to do it. Next, what we want to do then is just go back to our mat here, and I've got my card here. So what I want to do now is make sure that I get this in the right spot. So what I now need to do is find the center of my card. So the first thing to do is just measure, and this measures 10.5 centimeters. So we need to place the center of this card on that line, and on here it needs to be 5.2 centimeters. So I'm just going to use my ruler to place this. So 5.2. So now if I show you nice and closely, 5.2 centimeters is exactly where that line is there next to the 15. The next thing that we need to remember is that we've got these lines at the top of the mat here, and those are where your machine won't actually cut. So you need to make sure that your card is placed down at the bottom of them, as well, so that you're going to end up with a nice straight cut. Now I'm going to give this a very light bray because this is a brand new mat. It's not going to require too much braying. It's really sticky. Let's go over to the machine now and get this cut out. Here's the machine then that I'm going to be using, and we're being really naughty and we're tricking it into pretending there's a scoring stylus in this particular clamp here. Don't put anything in it, just put your fine point blade, or in my case I'm actually using my deep point blade today, into clamp B, and then don't worry too much about it. Okay, so now that we've got our mat and everything placed, what we're going to do is just put it into the machine. So just as normal, follow the guides on the bottom of the machine. Once your carriage has returned, you'll be ready to just press the go button, and let's watch it pretend to do its score. So that's the score done. Now it's going to come over, just check that it's got the blade it needs. Now it's going to cut out our Christmas tree design. The design has now finished cutting, so what we need to do is just check that the cut has been successful. And best way to do this is just by grabbing a weeding tool and just pulling out a piece of the design just to make sure that the cut has worked. As you can see, that's come out absolutely perfectly. So now that we're happy with the cut, we can just eject the mat. The next thing to do then is remove your design from your mat. So what you'll want to do is just flip your mat over. Make sure your desk's nice and clean. Just flip it over like so. Bend it back, which will allow the design to stay nice and straight. And you just want to really carefully remove that from the mat. If you need to go and start from the bottom as well, you can do. So there is our card, really well cut and absolutely perfect placement for the cut as well. Next thing, you'll just want to grab one of your pieces of either glitter cardstock or some foil card. Just cut out a piece. You don't necessarily even need to use a Cricut for this. I didn't. And then all you're going to want to do is just glue that to the back of your card and make this beautiful card ready for Christmas. I think what I'm going to do as well is make a little Merry Christmas to go at the bottom and just stick that on there as well. So I hope that has helped you to use some pre-cut, pre-scored cards, because I know I've got so many of them in my stock and I just buy them when I see them on offer. And I expect other people do as well, and then sort of think, I don't know how I'm going to do this. So that is how you do it. I really hope that you found this video to be useful and helpful. If you have, don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I'll see you really soon for another one. Take care, bye!